Dream Wars, Episode 5, Paramount Strikes Back. All right. Things just got a lot more interesting in the ongoing Warner Brothers Discovery merger saga. Even though Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix put out a press release announcing their intended deal, new reports suggest that agreement might not be as locked in as it first appeared. Oh, and this is going to piss me off. All right, let's go. According to multiple outlets, including Deadline, Warner Brothers Discovery has announced that it plans to enter discussions with Paramount Skydance about a possible merger. They are entering 7 days of deal talks with David Ellison Company, even as it continues to stand by its art agreement with Netflix. Despite signing on with Netflix, the Ellison family's latest proposal from Paramount appears strong enough that Warner Brothers Discovery, the parent company of HBO and DC Studios, can't simply just brush it aside. Paramount has made an unsolicited takeover offer before, and it's been turned down. But this new pitch has clearly gotten the attention of the investors over at Warner Brothers. I was going to say HBO, but it's the same thing, Warner Brothers. Warner says the Ellison camp have now verbally agreed to boost its bid to $31 billion or higher, or $31 per share or higher if two of the two sides engage, which Warner Brothers Discovery today has agreed to. The report continues. It also agreed to fund a $2.8 billion termination fee that would be payable to Netflix and ticked off a series of concessions around Warner Brothers Discovery's debt financing costs and obligations. Paramount still has not defined that bid as its last and best offer. So, guys, stay tuned. This isn't over yet. Unfortunately not. I need your thoughts. James, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on kind of Paramount kind of mucking this deal and
how I don't understand how this just can't end.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like Warner Brothers said no a couple times to Paramount and probably a bunch of other people too. They said, yes, Netflix, here's our handshake agreement. We're probably signing things. Paramount came back and said, no, wait, try this. And Warner Brothers said no again. But now they want to listen to Paramount and Skydance. What is happening? You can't take two people to the dance. What's going on here?
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say no means no.
Yeah.
Second of all, I don't know how to articulate this in an eloquent way. What the fuck is going on? Like, this is not. I feel like what's happening, and this is a larger political point. Again, this is not Distance Learning After Dark. I'm not going to really get into it. A lot of these companies seem to be very much taking advantage of a much more, I was going to say lax administration, but administration is going to allow the big companies to do what they want to do. To just try to consolidate all the power they can right now. And it's really harrowing. So, and it's concerning that it really feels like we could get a situation where there are two entertainment companies and that's it.
This is 100% monopolizing. Yeah, this is 100%
monopolizing. It is monopolizing.
Yeah, and I mean,
profoundly illegal.
Yeah, it is at a point where the current version of the FCC is not stopping monopolistic practices. They are not.
Well, no, they're more worried about censoring, late show hosts.
Yeah, so. We're not going to jump into that because I have thoughts on that I do not want to discuss.
Me too.
On the show.
I know. I'm making a terrible joke.
I like I said, I don't want to discuss any of that on the show. I mean, I barely want to discuss this because it amps me up so much. My issue with Paramount buying Warner Brothers, if it because I'm sure the FCC would allow that to happen immediately if it ever went through. But if Paramount were to buy Warner Brothers, the difference between the Ellisons buying Warner Brothers versus Ted Sarandos buying Warner Brothers is Ted Sarandos for all of the intention he has as far as like, hey, I want to bolster with, film and make Netflix a more marketable and profitable company, there is intention for preserving film, right? There
Yeah,
is
I agree.
intention for, hey, we want to be a bigger film juggernaut, bigger film studio. We want legitimacy in that Warner
Yes.
Brothers would be a part of our catalog. We can catalog Warner Brothers, but also continue to push things out, and we want to be recognized by our peers as being as big of a powerhouse as a Warner Brothers or as a Paramount. Now, the Ellisons, and this is where I'm going to get really angry. The Ellisons, their entire intention in buying Warner Brothers is stock value. Their whole thing is, how do we make ourselves more rich? Their big thing, the big thing with the Ellisons is, it's not quality over quantity. Their whole thing is, hey, our intention is to buy Warner Brothers, and then we are going to need to make cuts in order to make more money. So let's get rid of people and replace them with AI.
It really feels like they're like the Doge of the corporate world at this point.
Because the whole thing with and I mean, maybe the younger Ellison, was it Keith Ellison?
I don't know.
I'll look it
It's
up. Go ahead.
Larry Ellison is the father, I know that, but the younger Ellison, um
I
it,
don't
it
care to know.
it really seems like I hope that maybe he in purchasing Skydance, and his whole thing down the road is, you know what, hey, I do care about film, and I love filmmaking, and if we purchase Warner Brothers, I want to make everything more grand. I mean, so far some of the moves that he has made with Paramount seem more brand focused, which I'm okay with, right? Like, some of the things that he's done have been to make some of the product better. But the thing is that some of the other actions he's done have been, hey, we are planning on firing a shit ton of people.
Yeah.
And one of the valuations that they've done with Warner Brothers and saying, when we buy Warner Brothers, is we're going to fire a bunch of people if we buy Warner Brothers. It's just going to happen. And that upsets me.
Yeah.
Like, that upsets me that you are going to get rid of a bunch of people in deference of making more money in your pocket. And who knows, Sarandos may do the same thing, but at least Sarandos's intention in buying Warner Brothers is wanting to preserve film and wanting to bolster their filmmaking process and their legitimacy in the film world. So again, the intention is what bothers me with this. And Ellison wants it so bad that his whole thing is, I am going to throw more money at this just so I can make more cuts. And it bothers me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like the goal of everyone here is to make money regardless, but at least with, at least for Netflix, it seems to be a little bit more, we want to make money by making better things, not we just want to cut a bunch of things and raise our stock value.
Yeah.
Netflix buying Warner Brothers feels like Disney buying Fox in 21st century, where it's more like, hey, we're going to continue this. There may be some cuts. That's fine. We get it. That's what happens with companies taking over. But that being said, we're going to keep running both studios.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas the whole Paramount version is like, we just want all the things. We want all the toys and make them mine.
Right. And here's the thing, like I said, maybe Ellison does end up doing that. Maybe he does do some small cuts, but in the end preserves Warner Brothers, because I was skeptical when Disney bought Fox. When Disney bought Fox, I was like, they're gonna get rid of one of the legacy studios, and they didn't. They made it a separate company under Disney. And you look at what they've done with these franchises, right? Like, okay, so Avatar is continuing on, cool, right? And Avatar was already on its way. They were doing their thing, but I'm looking at the way they revitalized Alien, the way they're revitalizing Predator right now, and the conversations we're having with what they've done with these franchises. The fact that they have they doubled down on The Simpsons, and we didn't think The Simpsons were going to continue on. Like we thought they were going to start canceling The Simpsons after what 40 years that it's been on.
I
No,
mean,
they
you know,
they
I
they
don't know,
they
maybe they should
found
have,
ways,
but whatever.
but I mean they've been finding ways to make it better. And the whole thing is like, okay, for all the ire I have for Bob Iger, he has absolutely put the right people in place over at Fox.
and Disney now, because Dana Walden came from Fox.
Right.
She was running Fox. Now she's going to be, lack of a better term, co-CEO
Part of.
Right.
Disney.
You know, so like I love what Disney for the most part has done at Fox, and not destroying a legacy studio, and if anything taking the IP that studio owned and revitalizing projects, but also just elevating things, you know. Taking Fox Searchlight and making that a thing, and not getting rid of indie creators and giving indie creators a place to make film.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have not, like that shouldn't have been something that surprised me, because Disney was already doing that with Buena Vista. Disney was already doing that with some of their side studios. New Line Cinema was also a Disney owned company that dealt with specifically with indie film. So I you know, it shouldn't have surprised me that Disney did what they did with Fox, and elevated Fox as a studio and said, hey, we're going to take a failing studio and we're going to elevate it and make it better. And I love that they did that. You know, I feel like between the two people, the two companies, between Netflix and Paramount, I'm seeing more of that from Sarandos than I'm seeing from Ellison, because Ellison seems like he wants to dismantle the company and absorb it into Paramount, whereas Sarandos wants to elevate Warner Brothers and take all of the prestige legacy that Warner Brothers has had for so long. I feel like what they're trying to do is what Amazon is doing with MGM.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Amazon purchased MGM, and MGM didn't disappear. It surprised me that they took the MGM brand and just integrated it with the Amazon, but also they elevated MGM Plus. They made it an add-on for Prime.
Yeah.
They didn't get rid of MGM in any way. They elevated MGM. And I feel like that's what I'm almost tearing up right now. I feel like that's what Netflix wants to do with Warner Brothers. They want to elevate a studio that has been here forever and is a groundbreaking company in the world of film, whereas the Ellisons don't want to do that. At least it doesn't seem that way. Like I said, I'm taking all the credit away from him right now. Maybe he does. Maybe he does want to take Warner Brothers and make it a separate brand and take them out of the financial woes that they're in right now, because Warner Brothers has a lot of financial problems that they're dealing with right now. You know, maybe the Ellisons want to take that and fix the back end problems for the studio and elevate that studio. But it seems like what he's actually trying to do, what he wants to do, what his intention is to liquidate the assets that Warner Brother has, take the ones that are actually still money making and put them into Paramount, because they had a fail in Paramount Plus and they want to fix that.
Yeah.
You know, I will say this too. Warner Brothers is slapping Netflix in the face with this.
They are.
They've said yes to Netflix twice, turned down Paramount twice. And for them to be like, hold on, now we want to listen to this offer again? After how many times we said, give us the best offer out there, and now we're going back to this, like how many months later? Dude, that's messed up. That it feels like bad business for Warner Brothers. And what's his name? Zaslav? Like, you have no honor when it comes to being a businessman.
Yeah, I don't, and we're lucky your mom's not on the show right now. She do, but I mean, like, I have no, there's no love lost for David Zaslav. But the only way that they are redeemed to me on this is if the only reason they took the meeting was so that Ellison could waste money on it. Right? It's like, you know, if it is a slap to Ellison and saying, hey, we're going to take your meeting, we're going to do these 7 days, he wastes a shit ton of money on these meetings and then says, nope, we're still selling on Netflix. Like immediately is like, no, we don't need to think about it. We're selling to Netflix.
That would be really funny.
Yeah, that would be great because that is just David Zaslav saying, "Go fuck yourself, dude."
Yeah.
I will say though that you know how it feels like Paramount is going after the stakeholders right
Yeah.
now. I feel like that's working for them. And I feel like this is why this conversation has come up again, is because they're infiltrating the stakeholders and being like, wait a second.
They're like,
let's-"
hey, come make money with us. Hey.
Exactly. It's like,
That's what
whoa,
pisses me
they're
off. This is where like I keep on talking about like, you know, how much it pisses me off to just let rich people like to worry about rich people and not the consumer. Because it's like, okay, you have all these investors and they want to get their money back, but how do you make that money?
yeah.
Right? You really think that you're making that money on your own? No, you're making that money by all of the people who are putting in blood, sweat, and tears to make these films, to make all of this IP and all this product and everything like that. And then you're making money because we're going out to get it.
Yeah.
You know, again, Disney is on the right track. And hey, Predator, we're going to give this to Dan Trachtenberg, and Dan Trachtenberg is going to treat it with so much fucking care that he's going to make you care about the Predator in a way you never did.
Yeah.
Right.
And
We're
a
gonna
new
do-
generation care about it.
Right. You know, we're going to do Alien in a way that is new and groundbreaking and different. You know, like
Mhm.
it's these different things that where Disney respects the property. Again, if I see more out of Paramount where they are proving that they are doing the same thing, that Ellison is treating properties with the same amount of care,
Mhm.
right? Then I'll trust, you know, what he's doing a little bit more. But as of right now, I don't.